you are not lost. You are simply standing in the dark, wondering if the light was ever real. But the Dalai Lama said it plainly. I will always find hope in the darkest days and focus in the brightest. For my religion is very simple. My religion is kindness. Hope is not a feeling that arrives. It is a practice you choose before the light comes back. Look at how you are living. You sacrifice your health to make money, then sacrifice money to recuperate your health. And in the middle of all that transaction, you lose the one thing that was never for sale, the present moment. You are so anxious about the future that you cannot feel the day you are actually standing in. You tell yourself you are too small, that your choices do not ripple outward. But consider this. If sleeping next to a mosquito can keep a grown man awake all night, what can one act of genuine kindness do to a stranger's day? You do not need a platform or an audience. You need only to act. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. No one is going to hand you peace. No circumstance will arrive perfectly arranged. The life you are waiting for is being built right now, by the choices you make when no one is watching, when it is hard, when the return is not immediate. People live as if they are never going to die, and then they die having never really lived. That line should stop you cold, not because death is near, but because life is happening right now, and most of it is being spent waiting, postponing, rehearsing a version of yourself you never fully become. There is something the world will never tell you, because the world profits from your noise. Stillness is the most radical thing you can choose. The Dalai Lama taught that the key is to develop inner peace, not inner comfort, not inner ease, but peace, which is an entirely different and far more demanding thing. Comfort asks you to remove what is hard. Peace asks you to remain present inside it. You have been chasing silence on the outside, quieter rooms, fewer notifications, cleaner calendars, when the real noise has always been inside you. A disciplined mind, he said, leads to happiness, and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering. That means the war you are losing is not the one with your circumstances. It is the one happening between your ears every hour of every day while you pretend you are just tired. You have been told that compassion is softness, that warmth is a liability, that the world will take advantage of anyone who refuses to harden. But the Dalai Lama spent decades living in exile, watching his homeland dismantled, and he came back to the same answer every time. Cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease. It is the principal source of success in life, not strategy, not aggression, not positioning, warmth. That is the word he chose after everything he endured. What that means is that compassion is not what you offer when life is easy. It is what you forge when life has given you every reason to close. The person who stays kind after being broken is not naive. They are the strongest thing in the room, and most people will never understand what it costs them to remain that way. Think about what you are leaving behind. Not your possessions, not your titles, not the metrics of your career, but what you actually gave to other people while you were here. The Dalai Lama said, "Share your knowledge. It is the only way you can achieve immortality." And he meant it in the deepest possible sense. When you teach someone something true, when you hand them a tool they carry forward and give to someone else, that chain does not break when you do. The lesson outlives the teacher. The kindness outlives the moment. You do not need monuments or recognition. You need only to pour something real into another person, your attention, your honesty, your hard-won understanding, and trust that it will travel further than you can see from where you are standing right now. You have spent years trying to fix what is visible. You changed cities, changed jobs, changed relationships, changed the way you dress and speak and present yourself to the world. And yet, something followed you. Something always follows you because you brought it with you. The Dalai Lama was clear. True change is within. Leave the outside as it is. That is not an invitation to passivity. It is an indictment of the exhausting, endless rearrangement you call self-improvement, while the interior remains untouched. The furniture of your life can be perfect. The lighting can be beautiful. But if the person sitting inside that life has not done the inner work, nothing fits, nothing rests, nothing finally feels like enough. The outside world is a mirror. Stop arguing with the reflection and look at what is producing it. Here is what no one tells you about loss, about the door that closed in your face, the opportunity that dissolved, the relationship that ended before you were ready. The Dalai Lama said, "Remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck." And when you first hear that, it sounds like consolation. It sounds like something people say to make the pain manageable, but sit with it longer. Think about every time something you desperately wanted would have taken you somewhere smaller, somewhere dimmer, somewhere that required you to become less than you actually are. The rejection was the redirect. The loss was the clearing. The closed door was the universe declining to trap you somewhere you would have eventually suffocated. You cannot always see the gift while you are still bleeding, but it is there, and it is waiting for you to stop mourning long enough to receive it. There is a question beneath every conflict you are carrying, beneath the anger at the person who hurt you, beneath the story you have told yourself so many times it feels like fact. There is a question about whether you are willing to be free. Because forgiveness is not absolution. It is not pretending the wound did not happen, or that the person who made it deserves your grace. The Dalai Lama taught that we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves, and that peace begins when you stop letting someone else's actions live rent-free in the most sacred space you own. Unforgiveness is a chain you wear while believing you are holding someone else captive. It costs you sleep, clarity, openness, and the ability to love the next moment fully. Forgiveness is not a gift to the person who wronged you. It is an act of violent self-respect, the moment you decide that your freedom matters more than your grievance. You were built for something more than transaction, more than the exchange of time for money, effort for approval, presence for performance. The Dalai Lama said it without apology. Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. Not additions to a full life, necessities. The way water is a necessity. The way rest is a necessity. You have been treating compassion like a reward you offer once your own needs are perfectly met. But your needs will never feel perfectly met if compassion is absent from how you move through the world. Something shifts when you practice it, not as a discipline imposed from outside, but as a recognition of what you actually are. You are not separate from the people around you. Their suffering is a version of yours. Their longing is a version of yours. When you reach toward them, you are reaching toward the part of yourself that has always needed exactly that. There will be a moment, and perhaps you have already had it, where you are standing somewhere ordinary and something inside you simply opens. Not because anything dramatic happened, because you were finally present enough to receive it. One genuine moment of presence can reorder everything. The Dalai Lama taught that the purpose of our lives is to be happy, not in the shallow sense of constant pleasure, but in the deep sense of being fully awake to what is actually here. You have walked through so many moments on autopilot, processing rather than experiencing, surviving rather than inhabiting. But there are seconds inside ordinary days that hold more than most people collect in a year, if only you stop long enough to be inside them. Your life does not need to be larger. It needs to be inhabited more completely, with more honesty, more attention, more willingness to let what is beautiful actually land. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. The Dalai Lama did not offer two different prescriptions. He offered one. Because the line between your happiness and another person's is far thinner than the self-focused mind believes. What you give out does not disappear into a void. It bends back toward you in ways you do not always get to trace or name. The person you helped at the cost of your comfort. The truth you told when silence would have been easier. The moment you chose warmth when coldness was completely justified. These are not small things dressed up as philosophy. These are the load-bearing walls of a life that actually holds. And the Dalai Lama spent his entire existence demonstrating that this is not idealism. It is the most practical thing a human being can do with the time they are given. Our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. That sentence is both invitation and boundary. It asks you to be generous when you can and careful when you cannot. It asks you to acknowledge that your words, your choices, your presence, or your absence leave marks on people you may never fully account for. Be kind whenever possible, he said. And then he answered the obvious question before you could ask it. It is always possible. Always. Not always convenient, not always comfortable, not always without cost, but always possible. That is the standard. Not perfection, not sainthood, not the erasure of your own needs or pain. Just the consistent, deliberate choice to move through this world in a way that adds something rather than takes. Because the final question is coming for everyone, and it does not ask how much you accumulated. It asks what you did with the days you were handed, and whether the people who crossed your path were better or worse for having found you there. If you can be anything in life, be a Stoic.